Man, you add Justin Jefferson to the mix. Unlike, and I'm sorry, Packers fans, you needed a wide receiver. Well, they lost Stephon Diggs, and they went out and got a new Stephon Diggs for their offense, and that's what Justin Jefferson can do. But it didn't stop there. Jeff Gladney, to me, was the third best corner in this draft. While he is only 5'10", a little over 5'10", he does have the ability to make a tremendous amount of plays on the football.
And with that, the positive reviews flowing in as we begin Ventline today for the Vikings draft, which wrapped up with an NFL record in, I guess, the modern era of the draft. I love that term, modern era. 15 picks over 3 days. 2 on Thursday, 2 on Friday, and then 11 on Saturday. It's Zolgad. It's Declan Goff. The show is Ventline, 651-646-8255. The question is very simple. Your thoughts on the Vikings draft. What did you like about the draft? What maybe didn't you like? Because I did see some people on Twitter who were not as pleased as the pundits were with the Vikings draft. And also, do you feel better about this team this morning as we wake up with 15 new names drafted than you did, say, on Wednesday as far as the 2020 season goes? But before we get to Ben and reaction to the draft, and again, 651-646-8255. This is the Ventline Coffee Club. I want to get to some breaking news from our friend Tom Pelissero of NFL Network. Now, file this under potentially good news, but who really knows? But it involves Vikings running back and obviously key offensive player Dalvin Cook, who, according to our guy Pelissero, plans to participate in the Vikings' voluntary portion of their, and I'll stop here because this is the most important part, virtual offseason program, which starts today. Of course, Dalvin's going to be entering the last year of his contract. There is an expectation that he will seek and probably get a new contract before we see football in 2020, whenever that might be. But there was some feeling that if the Vikings offseason program had been held in Eagan, there were some who were curious without a new contract if Dalvin Cook would show up. Now, for all we know, there have been assurances made to Dalvin Cook about the fact that the Vikings have already started or will engage in negotiations with him. But the virtual offseason program, which is basically just going to be classroom stuff, Dalvin Cook plans to participate in that. And so if he is going to express dismay with not having a contract past the last year of his rookie deal, which is just dirt cheap, he is not showing his displeasure at this point. All right. Ventline is the show, 651-646-8255. It's Zolgad. It's Goff. Let's get to the phone calls. How did you feel about the Vikings draft? And let's go to our friend and loyal listener, Ben. Hey, Ben, what's up?
Hey, Judd. So two things. In terms of like an overall grade, at least right now, because it's impossible to grade draft picks right now.
Yes, sir.
I'd give it an A. I think it was a great draft. I think they addressed a lot of things that they need, and also I would say another word is opportunity. I think it's clear how the Vikings are going to build their team going forward.
Mm-hmm.
They are going, and I noticed it on the base of the last two drafts. Last draft, 3 offensive players in the first 3 rounds. This draft, 2 offensive players in the first 3 rounds. They are clearly basically are trying to convey to Mike Zimmer that, look, we have to help our quarterback immediately, and the best way to do that is to take guys who are in the first round that can come in and contribute immediately. Justin Jefferson, if he's as good as he says he is, he could be a 40 catch, 50 catch, 800 receiver, 700 receiver guy, and maybe a touchdown or 2 here. That's contributing right away.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's the way they're building their team is the right way to do it. And secondly, when I say opportunity, I mean, like, look around the division. Nobody in the division got better than you today. Nobody.
Amen to that. I would definitely agree, Ben.
Nobody in the division got better than you today. And based on some of their draft picks, there is a huge opportunity for this team to be the class of the NFC North for years to come if they continue to do the right things. But I like their draft strategy. We're going to draft offensive players early, and we're going to take defensive players late, and that's an okay thing to do because when you have a defensive-minded head coach, they can see those guys probably a lot better than maybe you can as a front office. So I think that's the message that that the front office is telling Zimmer, and I
Mm-hmm.
think everybody's on board with it. So I think it's a great job. I give it an A plus.
A plus. Thanks, Ben. 651-646-8255. Ventline is the show, and as Ben said, so Ben started with an A. He upgraded it to an A plus, and as well, it was, keep in mind, Declan Goff, 15 picks, a record, 15 picks.
Trader Rick, baby.
And I believe Trader Rick actually made 2 deals where he traded picks on Saturday, so it could have been 17 picks. That
Very impressive.
my friend, in a 7-round draft.
Vintage
is very, very impressive. Let's continue the phone calls now. Your thoughts on the Vikings draft, and also if you feel better about this team right now for 2020 than you did before the draft. Let's go to David next. David, what's going on?
Hey, Judd. So last year I called in, I don't know, to Ventline or Football Daily or whatever, but,
Sure.
I just felt like I wasn't optimistic about the Vikings. I felt like, okay, they're going to run everyone back. I'm not really super excited. And this is the first time I felt excited about the Vikings in a while. And it really felt like Rick Spielman was really GMing for his career here a little bit and pulling out everything to get people that might not all work out, but at least a few of them are gonna hit. So
Mhm.
I'm actually really excited about the Vikings. They seem more future oriented to me than just this year. So
Absolutely, David.
thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
So, all right. Here's my question, though. Now, 15 picks is a ton of picks. And when you accumulate that many picks and make the selections, I get that we all say, whoa, that's great. And it did feel like there are some years the board falls to you and some years it really doesn't. And this felt like a year in the case of a guy like Jefferson and Cleveland in the second round, that the board fell favorably, that there were some things that at times go wrong for the Vikings that didn't go wrong this time, and that at least you got the position and the name of a player that you thought is going to help. But I guess my question on Spielman's future is this. Is this really going to be the draft? I mean, if you're the Wilfs, you know as little about these guys as we do. So at what point in time, so if Rick going into the last year of his contract right now, at what point in time are the Wilfs going to say, oh, you know what? 15 picks was awesome. Extension. So I don't know that it's fair to say, because we're not going to know a thing about this draft class and its contribution until at the earliest, the end of 2020. And the reality is for a draft class to make a significant impact could take probably 3 years.
Yeah.
So this whole thing of this is going to be what saves Rick or not, I don't think so. I don't think so because, look, PFF and Mel Kiper and all of the pundits and experts can love your draft. But the reality is from a business of football standpoint, again, you're not really going to know for 2 or 3 years probably.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand this whole thing of, well, this could save Rick. I got to think a decision on Rick is going to be made far before this draft class either absolutely thrives or, let's say, it disappoints.
I think, though, what Rick has been able to do is he's been able to have very good drafts. Now, and I know the quarterback position's eluded him, and some of that's been bad drafting, and some of that's just been pure bad luck. But he's always been someone who's been able to demonstrate that he can draft and find great talent outside of the first round. So this might be his swan song, per se. This might be the last hurrah, but I think he's putting himself in a better position than he did before the draft started to keep his job.
Yeah, I just don't know that we can really sit here and say that this draft is going to decide Rick's future, because by the time that this draft, either, as I said before, thrives or flops, a decision is going to have to be made on other factors about this team.
Yeah.
And look, 15 picks is impressive because it's a lot of names. It's a lot of, for lack of a better term, especially with 11 of the picks on day 3 on Saturday, starting with the 5th through 7th round. It's a lot of what they call tonnage. So I get that. I just find it a little bit perplexing that we actually think that this is going to be the one thing that potentially saves him, when my argument would be a contract extension decision is going to have to be made with a lot of people not exactly knowing what direction this draft class might go in. 651-646-8255. The Ventline Coffee Club wants your response to how you feel about the Vikings 2020 right now after the draft and how you feel the Vikings did over the weekend. And let's go to our good buddy, Richard. Richard, what's up, man?
What's up, boss? How
Love
you doing,
hearing from you.
Dad?
Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you. Didn't I tell you? Did you hear what Rick Spielman said about last year with the Chicago Bears game? That's why I think they decided, hey, golly, they're holding up against Chicago. That's why we need to get rid of everybody. The draft was especially how was good. I give it an A. I love how the way I can't pronounce his name.
Ole Uda?
Udo, yeah. He played very well against Mac, and I would like to see him start this year. I wish they would cut Pat Elflein because he's just not that great.
They still might.
And
Richard, that could be coming. I would not be shocked by that one.
And we could save so much cap room there and probably give Dalvin almost what he wants, though. But other than that, the draft was sweet. There was one player that I was skeptical of that, I mean, everybody deserved a second chance with the, I don't remember what position he was playing, but he got in trouble for some sexual thing or whatever the case it was. I was like, wow. But everybody deserves a second chance. But other than that, I give him an A.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you. Bye-bye. So A is across the board. Let's see here. Pat Elflein. I'm just going to go to his, before we get to the next call, 651-646-8255. Going to go to his over the cap page here. Pat Elflein is due in 2020, which is the last year of his rookie contract, by the way. $2.1 million. If the Vikings sever ties with Pat Elflein before June 1st of this year, the dead money on that is only $234,210. So I would not be shocked. Now,
with cap savings of $2 million too.
Yeah. Now my guess is Declan, that Pat Elflein does make it to training camp. I don't know he makes it out of training camp.
Correct. I think he'll be fighting for a job.
So I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see an offensive line anchored by Bradbury. Right guard, I don't know. Right tackle, obviously, Brian O'Neill will start there. And some combination of Ezra Cleveland and Riley Reiff, either at left guard and left tackle, or if Cleveland comes in and impresses, you could move Riley Reiff to guard. Now, keep in mind, the one thing with Reiff there is he's a veteran player. He's played both tackle positions. He has not played guard before. So my natural inclination would be that they're going to go into training camp, long-term plan of Ezra Cleveland, their second-round pick, eventually kicking out to left tackle. But short-term plan, Riley Reiff stays at left tackle, and Cleveland plays left guard, and that means that Pat Elflein is out of a starting job. 651-646-8255. Let's go to Jeff next. Hey, Jeff, what's going on?
Hey, Judd. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Hey,
happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday, sir. I'd like to say an A- for this draft, and that's only because a little bit partial. I went to school in North Dakota State. They didn't get Derek. He went to the Giants, and I was so upset. And then Winfield and Tyler Johnson, they went to Tampa to be with Tom Brady. But overall, I thought they did a great job on the draft. I really hope that Mike Zimmer will focus on the defense and Gary can work on the offense. And I hope that they re-sign Josh Klein. Maybe we save some more money. We didn't sign Trent, and we re-signed Josh Klein and maybe bring in Logan Ryan. Sign some good talent there. I think that would be a good move for the Vikes.
Thanks, Jeff. I don't think Josh Klein is coming back. I think we're going to probably see a developmental guy from last year at right guard on opening day, Declan. That's my guess.
Drew Smith.
Yeah. No, I think Josh Klein's time is done here. Now, the one interesting place where I think that they are going to, total guess on my part, where they're going to sign a veteran is at cornerback. I think that they've got way more depth now there. In fact, they drafted during the course of the 3-day draft, they drafted 3 corners. So the depth there, I think, is up to 6 players. But I'm not going to be surprised at all if they try and ease the transition of some of those kids, and especially Jeff Gladney, the first-round pick from TCU, if they try and at least ease those kids in a bit by signing a veteran corner. And that does not mean that Gladney won't play. I find it hard to believe, though, that they're not going to at least get themselves a little bit more depth there.